Welcome to another episode of the Zillennial Vortex. Today we are talking about our favorite haunted spots on the planet. We start off by introducing ourselves. This is Tanisha, I'm Rohit.
What's up?
We start off with the Allegheny Lunatic Asylum.
Yeah.
Tell us about
what
it,
do you know
Tanisha.
about the Allegheny?
What I know
Lunatic
about
Asylum?
the Allegheny Lunatic
Lunatic.
Asylum is that it was established sometime in the 1860s or whatever with a capacity of 200
That's
odd a capacity of 200 odd patients who were mentally unstable
Yeah.
or retards, like we like to call them.
No.
They were
we'll
supposed to
beat
be
that.
they were supposed to be housed in humane conditions,
Yeah.
right? But over the course of time, people started getting afraid of mentally unstable people, started to demonize them, so they started to send a lot more people to that particular lunatic asylum. And then at a point of time, it just became overcrowded and
it housed
people got less
over
space.
2,000 patients. In
Yeah. From what I read, at a point it was, 10 times more than what it could accommodate.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, there's this wonderful doctor who thinks he can do some awesome surgeries on people to cure them. And then that's all. And then people start dying left, right, and center. It becomes a zoo for returns. Which is bad. I'm not saying that's good, but I'm just saying that's a horrible way to live your crazy life. I mean, if you're crazy, you should
Don't
just.
say it like
No,
that.
I mean, seriously, think about it. If you're crazy, you should just be able to walk in the garden, just chase your own tail.
But yeah,
Why not? Because that's fun.
that's what
Right?
dogs do.
You should just be
No,
able to
don't
do
do it.
that.
Don't
Okay.
don't even explain that sentence. It's okay.
But what is the history? Am I hitting the right spots with this history?
A little bit, but then there's a lot of like hidden stuff, real shady hidden things that they did that nobody knew till like
Okay.
recently. It first actually started off as a civil base, like a military base. Where
A
they
military
put-
base.
Yeah. So the entire thing before housing a lot of lunatics actually had military soldiers who either were pushed there for recovery or pushed there
Right.
with, say, any form of subtle mental illness or even like major, because you had PTSDs and there were a lot of depression, war depression,
Okay.
which later slowly and fully converted into an insane asylum, right?
So what you're trying to say is it went from a rehab center to a retard center.
Stop saying that. We do you realize every time you say the R word, we have to bleep it?
But retard is not an offensive word
Now it
to
is.
99% of the population. What I'm trying to say is, I don't mean any disrespect, but for the sake of conversation, it's just easy to refer to retards as retards rather than mentally unstable. Okay?
No.
No, but anyhow, so you're saying it got converted from a rehab center.
Not
to
exactly a rehab, but also when there was war happening, they didn't know where to house like half these half dead and injured soldiers, so they'd keep them
Okay.
in here because it was
Okay.
huge. This is, oh yeah, by the way, here's the thing. It was 666 acres
Oh.
and had 13 buildings, and the walk-in was 6 acres. All the devil's numbers, by the way. 666.
Do you think that was
13 and
coincidence?
6. I
Has to
don't
be
know.
coincidence.
I don't know.
Right?
No, I don't think so.
That's
I think
spooky.
it's straight up like,
But anyhow, okay, so what gave people the reason to assume that it was the devil's sort of, of course the 666 and all that, but there must have been something that happened there that made people think this is the wildest place.
see, there was a
on the
lot
planet.
of things that happened there. I think the whole 666 and the 13 acres just plays into this whole, this place is probably haunted. But then there have been a lot of ghost hunters and ghost investigators, the big guys, right, have actually gone in there and got video evidence of having shadow figures move by, doors opening on their own. They've heard growls on tape, and growls are never a good thing, right? Like when we did ghosts and things. Spirits don't growl, only demonic
Entities
things growl. Yeah, and these are not human, right? They're very monster, devils, demonic stuff. So they've heard growls, they've been scratched, they've been pushed. The scratching and pushing could make sense because a lot of the patients were the violent kind of mentally ill, right? Which is why there were a lot of major hauntings with their ghosts that have named themselves. So they've had records and they've done seances and spirit boxes, and they've found out that these are the ghosts haunting the place.
Oh.
Yeah. There have also been some good spirits, like there's this little kid called Lily or Emily.
Emily.
We don't know, but
Okay.
some people say that Lily and Emily are the same entity.
Okay.
They just go by different names. Now we'll call her Lily because it's cuter. I don't know, it's cuter. Lily is cuter. So Lily was real sad life, right? Her mom was raped, and that's how she conceived Lily. And her mom had a mental illness. So Lily was birthed in the hospital itself, in the asylum.
Oh.
And she grew up in the asylum and she died in the asylum.
So
And she was fine.
her mother was assaulted inside this asylum, or was she assaulted? There's no evidence of that.
There's no evidence, but she was raped, and that's how she conceived Lily. But she was also mentally ill, so she couldn't take care of Lily. So Lily was taken care of by all the nurses in the asylum.
Right.
So she was born there, she lived there, and she was completely fine. She didn't have any mental illness, and she died there.
How old was she when she died?
There's no proof.
But she was an old woman.
Yeah. No.
Or she died a kid.
Don't know. No, that hasn't been tracked in those whatever books that they are.
So,
but the ghost that roams there is age 8 or 9.
Oh, so there's a ghost of a girl who they say was Lily.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
They also think Emily, because so do you know what a spirit box is?
I'm assuming it's a box that contains spirits.
No. No.
Then what is a
we
spirit
used
box?
my logic and it sucked. Okay. It's a box. It's a box that works with electromagnetic frequencies. So these ghosts talk to you through this box.
Okay, so it's a translator, sort of.
Sort of. It tracks radio frequencies and these other waves and generates them into voices. So when they do these things, it's like table tapping or like the Ouija board, but
Except with sound.
Yeah.
So
And
you
when
can
they've done
actually hear
this,
things.
Yeah, they've got a lot from Lily and Emily, and they think Lily and Emily were the same entity. This
Okay.
9-year-old child that was.
Interesting.
And Lily is a good ghost. Like she tugs on people, and she has a lot of fans who come in there and give her toys and candies, and it's cute. It's really cute.
But then I'm sure there must be other chaperone ghosts that don't like her doing all of this nonsense.
So I don't know how Ghost World works, but this entire building was divided into 3 major sections. They had
Okay.
the criminal patients, or like the criminally violent, insane patients. They had the kids, right?
They had the kids.
ward. They had the women's ward separately, and then they had a violent women's ward and a violent men's ward.
So that's 5.
No, the kids were kept separately. The women were all kept separately. That's where it goes.
So
I'll
the
tell
men-
you why all
okay.
the mess ups happen is because of this. And the men were kept separately, right?
Okay.
They most of the times never segregated the violent from the just the.
So it was all men and all women. They did not think to separate the violent men from the docile
It
men.
wasn't done like really well. So sometimes they just like you separate, and sometimes they were interacting with each other, which is there's a very gruesome story of what happened to a very sweet child.
Okay, then elaborate on that, please. Let's
We're
all hear.
starting with it on a very this is okay. Actually, let's do 2 kind of okay stories, and then we'll get to the really bad one. It's not nice. It's okay. There was this violent woman named Ruth.
Ruth sounds like a
Ruth,
violent
it
woman.
sounds yeah.
Okay.
So she was in the. By the way, this is so cool. All the women, right? Every time like a nurse goes in, they would gang up. They would wait by their doors, hiding. And every time someone passes by, this is when the asylum was running, right?
Okay.
They would pounce on them and attack one person. So they're waiting, and then they do the football
So the women
pile up.
would be in a lineup on either side, and they would
So
attack
no-
a nurse.
Yeah, or anybody who passes by.
Wow.
So here's the thing: when you walk through that corridor, the violent women thing, you actually feel heaviness and you have tugs in different places.
So this is the ghost still in their...
In their loop,
their
they're
loop.
doing. There are a lot of intelligent hauntings and there are a lot of looped hauntings. If you don't know what those are, check out our first episode. We talk about it.
Ghosts, demonic possessions and spirits.
So yeah, a lot of them are in these loops, which is sad because some of these loops were not nice. And a lot of them are intelligent. Like Lily actually intelligently communicates with you. She's moved balls. She's like toy balls that they give her. She's moved them. She's moved toys. She's spoken. She's given like direct answers as to, hi, like hello, I'm here. And so
I don't buy that. Are you sure it's not just the breeze?
No. All the windows are locked. These are like most of these rooms.
Maybe there's a crack in the wall. I don't buy the concept of some 8-year-old ghost girl coming and, hi, I'm here. That's
so
bullshit.
cute.
That's not.
There's this
Are you
video,
seriously
there's this
telling me
video
that if
of-
you're walking in an insane asylum, which is a tourist spot right now, right? You're walking in that insane asylum in a corridor, and you expect to feel all of these tugs by these grown-ass
Pushes,
spirit women,
scratches.
but you don't experience that, and then you get out of that particular passageway thinking, "Thank God, I didn't feel anything. I'm so happy." And then all of a sudden, you feel your shirt tug, and you hear a little girl's voice saying, "Hi, I'm Lily." Are you telling me that's okay? That's not okay. That's not
That
cute.
is not okay.
That's
I
not
would be
cute.
shit scared
Exactly.
because that sounds like a demon.
How else do you think Lily sounds?
I don't know, like a cute child.
That's how a cute child sounds.
No, that's not how cute.
Mommy, my name is Lily. That's how a cute child sounds.
Oh, by the way, she knew her mom was like retarded, and I
Yes.
said the word. She knew her mom was not
Retarded.
mentally stable,
Retarded, yes.
and she never knew who her dad was. So apparently,
So?
her, you know how ghosts carry on like that one thing with them.
Yeah.
Her ghostly, spiritly soul is always in search of her dad.
Search of a dad. It's
So
a very
she's-
compelling story. I have to
Yeah.
say.
No, there's this video where they have these YouTube ghost hunters that go in there and they investigate, and she gets attached to this one guy, and it's so cute. He holds her hand throughout, and you actually have this EMF thing, and again electromagnetic frequency, and they kept it near like the thing. So cute. She held his hand throughout. That was sweet.
Okay. So okay, fine. So Lily is one of the ghosts that exists, and then
Ruth?
there are other. Ruth is the
Ruth didn't like men.
Okay.
Yay, Ruth.
Okay.
So she would punch, scratch, and hit men.
Okay.
Even till date, if any guy or male figure goes into her room, they have got tugs, pushes.
So punch, scratch, and hit.
Yeah, men.
Okay.
Then we have, they didn't mention the name. There was this in the teenage ward, right? Like not
Okay.
the kids, but the, I think about 13 and below 20 something. There was this kid that was extremely mentally unstable, right?
Okay.
Extremely ill.
Like a full retard.
Stop saying it.
Okay.
Okay. He was stabbed in the bathroom 17 times. Wait, he was stabbed in the bathroom 17 times by another child patient. And what he did was, I think he was mute, so he couldn't scream. I don't know what it was, but he didn't die in the bathroom. He crawled out to the main hall and died there.
Okay.
So the actual videos, or like people have claimed to see a crawling figure in that entire area, and they've got tugs on their pants, like right at the
Interesting.
bottom. So they think that this is, so what they usually do, at least what I think that they do and how I think they relate this, is they have all of these incidents happen now, right? All these
Yes.
investigators or people going in, and then they kind of see the similarities between this and the stories that they've had noted down in their records.
So then they can put one and two
Yeah.
together. But I find that it's a horrible story, but I find it quite funny that if I was the guy stabbing someone who couldn't speak,
I don't
it's a
think
bad
he was,
thing.
Yeah, I don't think he
but-
was fully mute, but I think like
But if
you
no
know
one
when you
could
couldn't
hear him,
verbally
but
communicate.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
So if I stab someone and all I'm doing is
No, he could. He spoke, but not like. Yeah,
that's it. Not help.
yeah, something. But nobody came to help him. Also, a lot of at least for the kids, I don't know why the nurses didn't run in to help this kid. But with like the women, the violent women and the violent men, and the criminally insane, right? If, say, something happens and you have one of these patients beating up or killing another patient, the nurses wouldn't do shit because some of these people were really strong, right? And you know the thing, a lot of these mentally unstable patients are actually can have more physical energy. I don't know how it works, but they can really hurt, right? And I'll show you pictures maybe at the end, but all of their doors are metal doors.
Oh.
And you can see punch marks on them, like solid iron doors, and you have punch marks. That's how strong these people are. So if you have people in there like that killing, say, a very weak, who's not a violent kid, I won't have the guts to go in and save that child because my ass is going to be next. I'm going to die in there. So what would they do? A lot of deaths have happened like that. A lot of deaths. A lot. Now, the scary and the most famous and the recent
They probably deserve
story.
it. The most recent story? Look, I'm just saying.
No,
right?
you need God.
No,
You need God.
No, I get it's
No.
bad, but you have to think from the point of view of people who were living at that time. At that time, nobody knew that mental health is not something to be marginal. People who have mental health issues should not be marginalized. You should not think of that as a demonic influence. You shouldn't think of that as something that cannot be changed. So in the eyes of those people, they weren't woke. In the eyes of those people, all of these retards deserved to
We
get
have to
the
have
punishment.
so many beeps in this.
Now,
Can you just call that mentally unstable or mentally ill?
retard is absolutely
No.
fine. It's not an offensive word. It's made offensive, but I'm not using it as a sign of disrespect. I'm just using it as a descriptive word, like an adjective. Okay? But my point is, it takes a certain kind of wild mentality to actually think of such people as dangerous and to be deserving of the kind of treatment that they got.
Yeah.
It's just
a lot of shady stuff that happened there. A lot. One of the scariest stories, like not even okay scary, like really scary. I'll tell you. I cried. This is the one that I cried for.
Did you cried for the story? Did it involve cannibalism? Because otherwise I'm not interested. Hashtag Army Hammer.
What?
You don't know Army Hammer?
No.
Army Hammer is that English Hollywood actor who got cancelled from a few of his
because
projects.
he said the whole finger thing.
Not finger thing. He wants to eat someone's rib and all that shit.
Weird people. A very recent incident that happened in September 1987.
Okay.
Ugh. One of the murderers died recently. So that's super recent, right?
Okay.
Not bothered. There was this very sweet mentally ill patient named Dean.
Dean. Okay.
Dean. Now Dean was deaf and mute. Okay? The sweetest there, apparently. A lot of nurses have recorded saying that, hey, he was the nicest kid.
Okay.
But the only problem was now and then he would have violent outbursts. Just now and then. That's because of the...
Okay.
Yeah, right? Now, so now the doctors were pissed because now and then he'd have these outbursts. And it was his mental illness, right? That's what they had to treat. So what they did to teach him a lesson, they put him with two of the most violent men in the asylum.
How's that going to teach him a lesson?
I don't know. Now, the two men were Jim and David.
Jim, David, and Dean.
Jim,
Okay.
David, and Dean. Now, Dean is a good guy, sweet. He had the mentality of a 10-year-old, apparently.
Well, he wasn't a 10-year-old. He was a middle-aged man.
20. But
Okay.
he
thought like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, and he would sit by the nurse's feet and drop it. Like he was a child.
Right. Okay. So he was a man-child. At this point, he's a protagonist in the story. He's Dean. He's a good guy. Now he's with Jim, and he's with Bean. David.
Now Jim was a 6+ foot dude, and he was a boxer. Then he was sent to the asylum. So you can imagine this guy,
The
right?
strength.
He's already
Okay.
his first roommate, right? Jim's first roommate was,
Cellmate, you mean, not roommate. This is not some kind of.
but they're not in jail. They're patients, right?
Yeah, they're
put in-
cellmates. They are not roommates. This is not some kind of, couch surfing sort of.
They were.
hostel.
That's the thing.
No, you call them a cellmate. That's what they were. They were in an institution that had, at this point, they had cells. It was not rooms anymore.
No,
It was
these were rooms.
rooms,
But, yeah,
but not
like-
like jail.
Yeah.
A jail cell is different. A mental institution cell is also different. I think it's cellmate. You can't call them roommate and normalize those people. Okay,
I
then.
think they're roommates. Come on.
Okay.
So now again, this roommate wasn't named, right? But his first roommate was again had the mentality of a way younger than what his age actually was. He had this habit of running out of the room and stripping naked and screaming. Now Jim wasn't having it, right? So soon as I think after a couple of times that he did this when he was living with Jim, when he was in Jim's room, Jim got really pissed, got him in, beat him to death, continuously pushed him down and punched his face till he died. That's Jim, right? Now Dean, sweetheart, had one violent burst. The nurses and the doctors are like, oh, this guy wants to act all tough. Put him with two of the most violent men in the asylum. He was put in Jim. Now, after Jim's thing, they put him with another violent dude, David. They put Dean in
Remember
Jim
that.
and David's room, right?
Okay.
Now, Dean was mute and deaf. Couldn't speak, couldn't hear, had the mentality, I'm gonna cry again, had the mentality of a 10-year-old. What these dudes did is they weren't having it, they didn't like this guy, so they took their bed sheet, tied their bed sheet around his neck. There was like a big metal rod on top, threw the sheet on the other side and pulled him,
We hung him.
hung him till he got unconscious, dropped him, kicked him, jumped on him and punched him back up, again hung him, got him
Okay.
unconscious, dropped him again, kicked him, punched him and got him back up, hung him the third time, got unconscious, dropped him, kicked him and punched him, he was still unconscious. So they take the bed, right, their bed,
Uh-huh.
these metal bed, you can imagine those,
Okay.
those like the hospital metal beds. The bedpost was put over Dean's head and they took turns jumping on the bed till the post went through his skull and came out the other side. That's how Dean died. And now
Okay, so he's
Dean,
dead. What's the point?
how are you you're sad, dark and cannibalistic, I don't know what to say. But like Dean was mute, deaf, helpless, he was a child. Can you imagine going through that entire loop? And you know what's happening, you can't scream, you can't speak, you're just
As
one of these dudes, I think David died recently.
he was still in the institution.
No.
Or another
No,
institution.
Yeah.
maybe, Oh, he's out? Or in another institution?
Don't know, but like someone said that he died recently.
As heartbreaking as that story is, it makes for a compelling origin story for a ghost.
So now, Dean's ghost is an intelligent spirit and a in-loop spirit.
Okay.
So they have
So
both.
what does he do?
In-loop is that I think
Is
he
he
lives-
experience? He lives his death
I
over and
think
over
so.
again. But see,
That's
this is
sad.
That's not sad. That's very weak. I'll tell you why. Because if you die in such a horrible fashion, it is incumbent upon you as a spirit to come back and haunt
What is
everyone.
wrong with you?
Listen to me. Haunt everyone in that fashion to terrorize the other innocent people.
Dean is still nice. He's a child.
Dean might be nice. I'm saying he's the guy in the loop, right?
Yeah. Now we
So
don't know if these
that's-
other two
no,
ghosts are there.
That's what I'm saying. So now Dean's ghost, right? When
Yeah.
Dean was impaled, right, and the rod came out of the other side, then he's obviously dead. Now, when his ghost or spirit ascends from his body and he sees that image and he's telling himself, is that me with a rod through my head? Are these guys responsible for it? I have two options. Maybe I should kill these fuckers, or I should get stuck in a loop. Now, if at that juncture in your life, it's an important juncture in your life because you have a choice to either take revenge or be a sissy about it. Listen to me.
God.
Okay, now he's a ghost, so he has
Who
unlimited
still
power.
has the mentality of like a 9,
No, but
10-year-old
he's an
mentally ill patient.
That's my point. See, once you get out of the body, you don't have the brain anymore. You just
How
have
do
the
you
essence.
know?
Because
And the essence is still a
no,
kid.
but see, but his brain was crushed. He didn't have a brain anymore. So where's the 10-year-old mentality? No, I refuse to accept the fact that he didn't choose to be a violent spirit because that's what he should have done. He should have instantly castrated Miss Jim and Mr. David. Okay? And started because it's fun. And okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
What?
Maybe he should have done a rain dance after that. I don't know.
What's
okay,
a rain
but-
dance?
And you know the thing they do on the roof with the some I don't know, something like that they do. Okay. But
Can you perform the rain dance?
I don't know the rain dance.
Yeah,
No, I really don't know the
No,
rain
I
dance.
think you
I
do.
don't know the rain dance.
No, I think you do.
It's something to do with hopping on one foot. I don't know what it is. Okay, but my point is, Dean was a total douche. You just call him douchebag Dean from now. Okay, now he's no in spirit. Douchebag Dean, asterisk spirit. In real life, he was darling Dean. Okay, he was a sweetheart. Okay, all that, whatever, fine. That's good backstory. But if you don't make use of the backstory, then what's the point in making the movie? Nobody's going to watch the movie.
I don't think this is a movie. I don't think there's someone directing
That's
it.
not
I
the
don't
point.
think-
When you're reading the story, you want Dean to exact revenge from the perpetrators of the crime. You don't want him to be a sissy about and be like, okay, I'm just going to get stuck in the loop and relive my whole moments
No,
again.
so he has two different energies. One is this loop energy, and this is because a few investigators have realized that apparently Jim Woods is his full name, the douche, the actual douche. A lot of people have seen a 6-foot-tall guy wait by the violent men's ward, just standing there like that.
There's a spirit you're talking about.
Yeah, he intimidates humans to walk past him, right? But when they've spoken to Dean, right, the intelligent spirit that communicates, Dean has indicated that he doesn't like Jim and David coming in here. So that means that it's just sad. And no, if I could do anything to help Dean, I'll do whatever it takes to help
What you
him.
need to do to help him is take a Ouija board and spell out the words, get a life, Dean. Use your strength to exact horrible revenge on the people who impaled you using metal rods on the cot of your own
What
bed.
kind of a Ouija board is this?
Yeah, I'm typing it. Okay. On your bed. Don't be a baby about it. Full stop. That's what you need to do to help him.
No.
Okay, where have you heard of ghosts who undergo violent tragedies when they are alive and not come back violent spirits? That means this is all just a fabrication. Maybe the story is Dean was the one who did that to Jim and David. Okay? And maybe that's why, as recompense, he decided, I'm just gonna, be an innocent ghost and fool people. Okay?
Dean was an innocent ghost. Now, what the main question is, why the hell were these doctors who were supposed to be so educated to teach a mentally ill patient who had the mentality of a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
who couldn't speak, who couldn't hear, put him in in a ward that had the most violent men just to teach him a lesson?
I think it was.
I think the doctors' revenge would be to put the doctors in the same ward and have them go through the same.
Yeah, all that is fine, but Dean apparently can't take that revenge. Can he?
Let him go.
I'm not going to let it go because
No.
okay, the doctors, right? They are probably thinking that, okay, the dude's a kid. He's adult, but he's a kid. So they're probably thinking, you know what? Maybe if we scare him a little bit. Maybe they tried like, boo! He didn't get scared.
No, but see,
Maybe they
now
tried-
you also have good topic switch in. These these doctors used a lot of really inhumane treatment methods. They had electric chairs and electric treatments and electrocution itself to help these patients get better, real bad. And they had something called a frontal lobotomy.
So just called a lobotomy.
So what they do is that they put in like rods in your eye, and then they hammer it down to cut off the nerve connection on your frontal lobe, right?
Yeah.
This apparently was done to cut or like get the patient forget their personality, so then they just become docile, which basically means they dumb them.
That's
right?
the
So
thing.
they don't react anymore like humans. So now they're just like plain as walking and maybe not even talking vegetables that just need to be fed in. That's not okay.
That's not okay, but you have to put yourself in the shoe
So
of the first person. Imagine just what kind of a human being is walking around in a park and he sees a retard, and then he thinks, and he's a doctor. It's like, what can I do to make his life better? Maybe I should just lay him down, open his eyes, and smash an ice pick into it. Who thinks like that?
Exactly my point.
That's what I'm saying. That
I think we're saying who thinks like that in two different.
no, I'm
it
saying
connotates
imagine
something completely.
imagine what kind of a human being you have to be to think of that as a solution to solving mental illness. or whatever it is.
Exactly. Or electrocuting
Right?
them. Why do you think
Yeah.
if you like attach
No.
them to a few wires and pass
That's
in?
exactly what I'm trying to say. That is not the solution.
Exactly.
Throwing them off a cliff is a much better solution than
Stop
laying
talking.
them down. And
Just stop talking. Oh my god.
isn't it easier
No.
between the two? Okay.
No.
See, listen to me. Okay, we have two.
This was back then, okay? Now we have.
Back then only.
Okay.
Now, of course, now you talk to them and you can't say a lot of things because they'll cancel you and all of that. But back then, I mean, they were just doing for their personal pleasure.
Yeah.
There was no other reason why,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I get the whole you have to go through some amount of torturous and pain parts to learn science, because back then you're saying these are all, but I think you could have done it a little more humane, right? You can't.
No, but
I don't
see,
know. You always have dead bodies that you could experiment on that didn't have conscious feeling and didn't have to go through pain and live with that mental endorsed pain. You could have
so
worked on a
are
dead.
you trying to tell me that they would try to cure the mental illness of a dead body before they could try and cure the mental illness of a living, walking schizophrenic?
No, but see, if the brain still functions for a few hours after the body.
But it's not sufficient enough for you to get experimental results. My
I think
argument
that's
here
better
is,
with-
my argument here is, I'm sure these people didn't do it out of scientific research. They did it because they were in a position of power.
Yeah.
And they said that this
Yeah.
one guy who performed 4,000 lobotomies. Like, imagine
Yeah.
that. Okay.
He's the one who showed off by putting in two things in one hand and hammered them together.
Yeah, I mean, it's a skill. Yeah, it won't win you like Mr. Universe or anything, but it's a skill nevertheless, right? The point is, what was the point? The point
there
is,
is no point.
they did this out of
Fun.
some superiority complex,
Yeah.
right? This is not, you cannot equate this to the foibles of scientific research,
Yeah.
where you have to cross a certain limit if you want to experience science in its entirety, right? You can't have results or hypotheses. You can have hypotheses, but you can't have proofs without experiments,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And there's a very thin line. You can't cross. Like, you can kill rats, you can maybe kill monkeys, not nowadays. Can't kill dogs, you can't kill cats, you definitely can't kill human beings. So then how, whatever. But so you can't cross that line. But those people weren't doing it for the scientific research.
I don't think so.
They were just doing it because they could.
See, since you've mentioned that, there was this other treatment where there was this isolated room, right? Chamber, rather,
Okay.
where they would shackle the patient in 5 different places and hang them mid-air.
So 1, 2, 3, 4,
No,
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're like, yeah.
Okay.
And here's the thing, the nurse or the doctor that puts you in has to be the only one who can sign you out.
Oh my God,
So
exciting.
now if you don't like the patient, and even if the patient hasn't caused a problem, they would put these patients in there just for funsies.
See, this is the reason why when they die, they should come back as vengeful spirits. But they don't, which means the whole concept of spirits doesn't exist.
No, but you have the violent ones who've come back as vengeful spirits.
It's very,
I think
very
like
moronic
spirits-
to do that. Okay, because the violent spirits already had their fun. Now in the spirit world, they
No.
just want to atone for their sins. But the innocent guys, where else are they gonna have a chance to kill the violent guys?
I think the innocent guys remain innocent when they turn into ghosts.
It shouldn't be
That's
the
why
case.
Dean's spirit speaks. So when you want to communicate with Dean, you sit on the floor and you play with his toys and you give him
A
more
lollipop.
toys
Yeah,
and
that's
candies.
the thing. He shouldn't be sucking on a lollipop. He should be, using like a
machine gun.
machetes. Okay?
You see a machete flying around.
Yeah.
You're like, we should like leave.
Yeah, that's exactly what it should be. And Jim should be
Will
the
a
one running.
physical object actually kill a ghost?
No, it won't.
So what's the point?
It's like ghost machete. It's not a real machete, obviously. Okay? Only a ghost machete can kill a ghost.
You see him with a AK-47 just sitting on the opposite building, and you're like, is that?
No, but that's the thing. He can't do anything to you, right?
No.
Because he's running. At the time, first of all, I don't think AK-47 was there, so let's not get unrealistic here, okay?
Rifles, okay?
Yeah, okay, whatever. But he's using the ghost weapons to chase after Jim and David. Okay,
Yeah.
first of all, David sounds like an ultimate loser to me because he's not even part of the story. Jim is calling the shots. I think he's the man in the relationship.
Fun fact, Jim was calling the shots in everything that happened in the men's violent.
So he was the boss.
Because people were shit scared to touch him. Even the nurses, a lot of experiments were not, there were no records of him going into any of these lobotomies or any of these electric seat thingies. Because this guy was huge and he was capable of beating the shit out of you till you die, right? So a lot of the doctors and the nurses wouldn't mess with him.
But then, I mean, so
So I don't get the point of having him in.
So essentially, what you're trying to say
I
is
don't get
they
it.
should have killed him.
Yeah.
Which is what
If you were
I
gonna
am
kill
saying.
Dean.
Which is what I am saying as well. Throw them off a cliff so
But
you don't
how
have
do
to
you-
waste electricity.
But now, okay, a
Tranquilizer
guy like
dart.
Jim.
Tranquilizer dart. 2 over here, 2 on the buttocks, and he's done.
What if they didn't have those?
Tranquilizer darts.
Yeah.
No, they had tranquilizer darts.
What if they were just scared?
Huh?
What if they were scared?
What's difficult? You just like get a blow dart. You don't have to go near him. Excuse me, can I dart you? No. You stand at a particular length, okay, and then you go,
Can I use a cinnamon?
okay, and then who did that? No. Huh?
Down
Yeah.
you. Stay there. Don't
No,
move.
that's the thing.
No, but like, see, okay, no, that. I don't think, I think doing anything to him was out of the question because nobody did anything.
Yeah, that's
He just went around beating people and killing them.
so
and
that's
nobody
where
gave
the
a
problem
shit.
lies, right? And who's to say that Jim was actually crazy? Maybe he was searching
was-
for a reason to hurt people.
Yeah, that's the thing. So another really dark thing about about the asylum is that a lot of criminally insane people were pushed in here, and now they didn't have to be insane. They just had to do criminal acts, and say if you had the kind of money to not send them to jail,
Right.
they would push them into these asylums, right? And now you're mentally fine, you're stable. You just have real violent tendencies. You're not mentally
Exactly.
fine, you're not stable. You have violent intentions to kill and hurt people. So that was who Jim was.
That's the problem. That brings us to the crux of the matter, where mentally
also
unstable
the
people.
fact that he was a retired boxer or was a boxer
Exactly.
and they pulled
Whatever
him out
it
because
is.
he was.
That's the moral of the story is that in that day and age, even sadly to some extent today, people think of mentally unstable individuals as expendable in society. They are still not offered the kind of respect that they deserve, right? Which is why you could find so many examples of just throwing them together in an asylum, locking them in cages in the middle of the room,
Yeah.
dirty beds,
Yeah.
less food,
Yeah.
all those kinds of things, and then you have buggers like Jim who come and exercise their
Power.
boxing abilities, right? It still doesn't excuse the fact
Like they could have
that
tranquilized and killed
there
him.
were better methods to treat these situations.
Oh God. Like a gun
No, just make another institution.
for criminally insane.
Yeah,
people.
make 2, make 3.
But also the fact you're talking about 13 buildings, right? And they were all separate. There were big doors that separated each of these buildings. Even if you could keep them separately, like now see, Jim and David never got into like a fight where they would beat each other to death because both of them were violent. So put all the violent people in one freaking building, put all the kids in one freaking building, and don't do the whole, let's teach him a lesson because he hit us. Because
Maybe
he's a 10-year-old, that's what kids do. So
Yeah.
now he just
See,
no,
I'm fine
like
with punishing kids. Okay, kids, I think, deserve to be punished. I was punished when I was a
Dean.
child, but yeah,
That's
these
not
are-
the kind of punishment you
that's
want to
not the kind of punishment. That's probably because he was an actual.
No, he's never in the entire record of stuff. Dean's never had a violent outburst where he's hurt somebody.
someone. So he's just thrown a tantrum. sort
Yeah,
of.
or like maybe he pushes a nurse or says, "No, I don't want that," and that's okay. You're talking about a patient who has the mentality of that age. And he's deaf and mute. You're also saying someone who can't respond. So even if they're hurting him, and his violent outburst does not have to be a violent outburst. His violent outburst could have been a, "No, I don't like what you're doing to me." He couldn't speak. He couldn't hear. He doesn't know what's happening around him. You take that and say, okay, let's teach him a lesson and put him with 2 really crazy, bloodthirsty men just to teach him a lesson, knowing that they couldn't stop Jim because Jim has done this before, not once, not twice. He's beaten a lot of people to death, right? The ones that have come out have been the ones who the innocent, mentally ill people, the ones that couldn't react.
But you can't argue the fact that he did learn a lesson that he shouldn't be violent anymore at the expense of his own life. But the lesson was learned. So in a way, what the doctors did was like 2% right, 98% horrible, no doubt about that. But 2%, they're like,
Don't even
did
know.
he learn the lesson? I think doctor, he learned a lesson. He might not have learned the lesson, but he learned a
Then
lesson.
maybe we learn we
No, I
probably
think
learn
we are good.
we
We-
learn the
no.
lesson, right?
No, we didn't.
yeah.
What lesson would they
yeah.
have learned? The doctors would have just
Don't put
cheers.
them
Because that's not the lesson they wanted to learn. They just wanted one less human being in that mental asylum, and instead of killing him themselves, they decided that Patricia, what do you think? Should we just experiment and try to teach him a
Jesus
lesson
Christ.
with putting them with Jim and yes, Dr. Walter, why don't we do that?
Walter and Patricia.
And then they would have done it, and they would have thought
So
of.
now you actually have these apparently a couple of people, the people that own the place now and know the history of the place, say that when Dean was being killed, there were doctors actually watching it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
I hope they had
So,
a
no, that's the
terrible,
thing. No, see.
terrible, really sad,
Yeah.
painful death. Because
But
that's what they
see,
deserve.
No, listen to me. That was a time where you didn't have TV, you couldn't binge watch Netflix shows. You needed some sort of entertainment. And how much entertainment can you get by just looking at, all these people in the lawn just talking to some president or talking to some random personalities? Some people needed that extra stimulus, which is why Walter and Patricia decided that
Walter.
let's get our friends, let's get some beer, okay, we'll have a notebook just in case like the police comes in, and we'll watch through a glass, okay, and they'd have been like, folks, the event is about to start, just please, okay, and it would have started.
Oh God, no.
9:33 a.m. the patient enters the room.
Don't do this, I'm gonna
9:34
cry again.
a.m. The occupants of the room notice the patient. 9:34 a.m. the occupants of the room have overpowered the patient. 9:35. Can I have the popcorn, please? Yes. 9:35 a.m.
Oh shit.
The patients
We messed up.
have lifted the what is that person's name? Incomer, the guest,
Dean.
on the metal rod. Okay. Now after they did it once, they would have also been like, Jim, David, just change it up a little bit. Okay, we're getting bored. And they would have got
They
the
did it
message.
thrice.
And thrice, that's what I'm saying. And then after that, they'll be like, okay, they want more entertainment. So let's just.
God.
It's. I'm telling you, it's a sad story. But still, the ghost should have come out little more
Yeah,
violent.
I know.
Okay?
If I could
'Cause
speak
see,
to Dean, I'd be like,
no,
my
but
man.
think about it.
You want
okay?
me to start a satanic cult so
No,
that
no.
we give you the energy to kill those ghosts that still
Yes,
roam?
exactly.
Let me know, dude. Like,
It's
we're
see,
in this together, my man.
It's always a
You want
tit
candy?
for a tat. It's never a tit for a tit. That's only in erotica. Okay? It's always.
That
and-
sounded so weird.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay?
You didn't have
but
to
see,
say
no,
it.
everywhere on earth, every legend has a story of oppressed entities,
Yeah.
either revolting or coming back as ghostly entities. Like
Yeah.
even in the next the other haunting was at the Winchester house, right?
Yeah.
You had people who were victims of whatever particular industry,
Yeah.
the gun industry, who were quote unquote the reason for the hauntings
Of
of
the
that
Winchester.
Winchester house. See now
Sarah Winchester.
that story makes sense because
Yeah.
it's got a beginning, it's got a middle, and it's got an end. The other story,
But see, the middle is
has
just
a villain.
messed up.
Yeah, but okay, so that's the thing. How is it messed up? I mean, I don't even. First of all, okay,
Sarah Winchester was.
while wife of William Winchester,
Yeah.
right? The dude makes guns. He wants to make
His
money.
dad
He's an
made
American.
guns.
Okay, whatever. His family made guns. He wants to make money. He's an American capitalist.
Made a lot of money.
Made a lot
Over
of money.
50 million back
50
then, which
back
is
then, which is crazy, right? So he's made a lot of money by he's not killing people. His
He sends-
inventions
were killing
are
people.
being used in the wrong way to kill people, right? With that logic, you should blame the early man who made the stick as a weapon. Because that stick or club was used to kill another early man.
Okay.
And then the stone. Imagine the first early man to lift a stone. And he's looking at the stone, he's looking at his friend. He's looking at his stone, he's looking at his friend. And then he decides to throw the stone at the friend, and the friend collapses. Right? And Julie is sitting there crying, thinking, what the fuck did you do, Jacob? Okay?
Jacob.
So he should be blamed. Because he's the first one to use the stone. So every stone death that has happened after
Stone
that,
death. Stone age, stone. Oh, that's smart.
yeah, should be blamed on Jacob, the stoner. Okay? You cannot just simply say that, yeah, he made a weapon. It's bad that the weapons are being used to kill other people and animals. Okay? But that is technology. That
Okay,
is
but
science.
with the whole Winchester house and the Winchester mansion, what if a lot of critics have also mentioned that this could have been just a case of depression,
Exactly.
and her outward way of showing it was creating this weird
Narrative.
mansion.
Okay. Fine.
Right now, what's the story? Her father-in-law created these huge, the most famous U.S. rifles used at most wars, killed over, I don't know how many millions of people, but killed those many. Her father-in-law died, now passes away. Her husband gets the company, right? Gets into his name, writes it down in his name. Moving on. He passes away. She has a child that also passes away. All this happens in a loop, right? Now she's depressed, she's sad, she's rich, but she's depressed and sad. So she goes to the psychic medium who creates or conducts a seance to talk to her late husband and probably her child. And the psychic tells her, or these ghosts tell her, that the only way that she can escape death is if she confuses the spirits that are haunting. Stop laughing. Let me finish that sentence. If she confuses the spirits that are haunting her family so that they don't get to her. Full stop. So now Miss Sarah Winchester. Oh, by the way, fun fact, she consults ghosts to build a mansion that confuses ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. So now you have ghosts working against ghosts. So just it's so cool. So now you have Sarah, who she had this crazy seance room. She would walk into with 13 cloaks.
Okay.
I think, yeah, 13 cloaks
She
because
was
she had
obsessed with the
13.
number 13, right?
She was obsessed with the number 13. So she had 13 hangers where she put each of these cloaks, and then she would sit at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m.
2 o'clock
2 a.m.
2
Sorry,
a.m.
2 a.m. in the night, and consult with ghosts, good spirits, to build or construct the house in a more confusing way so these bad spirits don't find her. That was one theory. The other theory was that the whole thing of if she stops constructing, she'll die. By the way, do you know Ramaya College?
Yeah.
The Ramaya Institute, I don't know if this is true, but I think
Oh, he
it's
keeps
the same-
constructing, right?
I think it's the same thing with something bad would happen if he doesn't stop.
But I don't know of any Ramaya rifles. No. But maybe
Um,
some logic. Okay.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe.
I've heard it. I've heard it.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have a fact check later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now she's talking to these ghosts, and they say, "Hey, make a staircase to nowhere. Fun. So you run up it, you have a trapdoor, and you escape. The ghost standing behind you is like,
Yeah.
did she pull a? Yes,
Exactly.
she's like one
Now,
of us. Like,
Imagine how dumb this woman has to be to think that she can fool a ghost. Unless and until the ghost is like Dean and extra dumb, there is no way that she can fool a ghost.
here's where the second theory comes in. So the second theory is that there are three theories, okay? So the second theory is that she probably did the whole constructing thing to keep the house lively. Like she
Okay.
have all these men in there, she's protected, and the noises of the construction, the constant
So
banging.
basically, she's depressed and she wants to stay occupied in some way or the other.
The noise scared the ghosts away. Or the people. Ghosts are never there where there's
Sure.
a place that's fully occupied by human presence.
Okay,
right?
fine. Let's take that under
The
assumption.
third theory is that she was just depressed and didn't know what to do with herself, and then there came out the Winchester mansion, the most creative. I think it's cool.
The
I really
fourth
think it's cool.
theory should be that she was 100% crazy. She lost her husband. She probably killed her own daughter.
She didn't.
She couldn't bear the guilt. So what she did was say that, you know what, people, I don't want to show you I'm depressed. So I'm just going to make up a story where I'm going to say that, yes, people of the town, I went to the seance master and he said that my husband is saying that all the people I killed are coming back to haunt me.
What's his
So,
name?
who?
The seance master.
I don't know. Okay.
You're good at names. You name people.
But I don't know what his name is. Just Timbuktu. Okay. but okay.
Timbuktu.
So that's some name I forgot. So she says that townspeople. He has said that, you know what, my husband is saying that all the people who have died because of my extremely amazing father's scientific creation, that
Father-in-law.
I have to keep building stuff, okay, and you know, so that I can confuse the ghosts. And meanwhile, the townspeople are like, is it possible to confuse the ghosts? And they are looking at each other.
Is
and
she
they're like,
actually a creative genius?
yeah, exactly. Because if he's able to confuse ghosts, then she deserves a pedestal.
Yeah.
But she actually is feeling so guilty in her life that she wants to help people. She wants to employ them. She wants to help the community build the house. But she can't say that directly. But people already think that she's crazy. So she's leaning into the craziness and she's saying that, yeah, I'm haunted. You know, I'm not haunted. My whole family is haunted. So you have to come and work. I'll pay you. You work. You keep building for as long as it takes till I die. But you just keep building, because if you don't build, then I will die. Do you see how stupid that sounds? It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
No, because that's what you.
No, but that's the logic. See, okay.
That's not the logic.
See, listen to me. Think from an objective standpoint. She has provided employment to so many people for so many years. Okay.
But also, these men have broken down the same door and reconstructed it 1,000 times.
But they're still getting paid. Their objective.
So if she was that good, why couldn't she just pay them without them constructing?
Because she's crazy. She doesn't want to be out and out philanthropic. She's, you know how you have closet gays, right? She's a closet philanthropist. She's scared to accept that she's a nice person, which is why she goes out of her way to be a psycho, crazy old woman.
She wasn't psycho, she was actually...
She's crazy old woman.
She wore a lot of black, she liked the
Still
number...
a crazy old woman.
She liked the number 13.
With the number 13, okay?
It's not coincidence, come on.
It's okay, might not be... No, it's not coincidence, maybe she just leaned into it, okay? What number should I be obsessed with to make people think I'm crazy? How about 24? But no, 24 is not crazy.
That's why she's
How about 72? No, but that's the number of hours in 3 days. So why don't we just stick with the traditional 13? Okay, Sarah, let's stick with 13.
She talks to herself?
Because she's crazy!
Okay.
Okay, tell me which sane person will employ people for 38 years continuously? 24 hours of the day. Do you know how many weeks are there in 38 years? That's 1,976 weeks.
Why did you...
Okay, that means 13,832 days. 13,832 days. That's how many times she would have seen the sunrise. And with the sunrise, like Mario walking in to construct. Okay? Who does that? Who in their right minds has a house with 950 doors?
That's cool.
10,000 windows. That's not even a multiple of 13. 40 stairways and 47 fireplaces. Who does that?
She also apparently was supposed to have over 600 rooms, but because of the constant reconstruction, it landed up to 161. Including her blue room, the seance room.
Yeah, but whatever it is, right? And she has 18 servants, she has 18 gardeners and the construction team.
Yeah.
All just to prove...
She was 4'11". Look at me. My girl's killing it. Because we're all part of this shot.
There's a direct correlation here between her height. Oh, also, which actually, no, that's a very indirect correlation because, believe it or not, research has been done on the fact that people, men and women who wear high heels are more susceptible to schizophrenia. The higher your heel,
high heels.
That's what I'm saying, which is in contradiction to research that's being done in the modern day.
Okay.
Right? Examples of mentally unstable people who, this thing. So it proves my point that she's actually not crazy. She's just pretending to be crazy.
No, but also...
She's trying... also what?
I think this is my theory, right? So theory 5. This is a independent widowed woman back then with 50 million in her bank account. You have so many male suitors who are like, I will marry her.
Yes.
I need that money. I need everything. So what if she was just really smart? So she cooked up this entire ghost haunting theory to protect herself from the male gaze.
No,
I think that's it, and I'm like, I think she's just, why not?
All she had to do was 13,382 days, just get one boy toy a day. Okay, she didn't even have to marry someone.
This was back then where the men get to own property legally, right?
Okay.
So now she doesn't have anybody in her family, and that's how she got the 50
So you're
million.
saying she used this as a smoke screen so that men would be put off by it and say that, okay, this bitch be crazy, her house is
was
haunted.
the most richest woman back then, and she died the most richest woman back then. So why not? Now, if that was me, I think that's what I would do. Like, I would cook up this real good, I'm possessed. I'm not possessed. My family's possessed. I'm next in the line. I'm going to get killed. The only way I can protect myself is to consult good spirits to confuse these bad spirits.
Exactly.
I'm always followed by ghosts.
That's what I'm
always followed by ghosts. So ain't nobody going to come next to me. Plus, I have real good close construction dudes that I've been working with for 38 years.
And she sees
Ain't
them
nobody coming
working
next-
every day and sweating and all of that.
Yeah.
It's like one of the worst porn movies of all time. Okay,
You ain't
but
gotta do
my
work,
point
work,
is,
work.
but my point is that
I think
she-
it's smart. No.
Yeah, that's
no,
what
we
she
should
went,
end it with
no,
this.
No, she went out of her way to make people believe that. I was saying because she's crazy. You're saying because she's smart.
Yeah.
Either case, she was just going out of her way to make people believe that,
She was.
and it's a believable story
Yeah.
because there's good content. Unlike a certain believable story that happens.
Leave Dean alone.
I'm not talking about Dean. I'm talking about an unbelievable story that happens on the highway between Goa and Mumbai. Right? Now this highway.
Wait, but before that, can we, for like a second, take the point that Sarah Winchester was probably a part of some demonic cult and worship the devil?
Make up your mind, okay? Was she crazy? Was she intelligent? Or was she totally crazy? There's only one of the
She
three.
either performed like actual seances and asked the devil
No,
for help, or she was
no.
really intelligent. I like
She
that.
was very, no. There was no contact between her and the devil. That's for sure. She was not going into a room.
I really think she went in there and spoke to the devil.
She
Maybe
went
did.
in there and
Because
pretended to
why,
speak to
why
herself.
the Winchester
Okay?
Mansion is haunted?
Yes.
Why the Winchester Mansion is haunted is also because a lot of investigators that go in now have growls, scratches, they have footsteps, they have things. So like there's activities going on
But
in,
that's the
right?
thing.
Like
Maybe it's in their
spiritual.
head. You see, even when the construction stopped, when this lady, bloody 82-year-old woman died, right?
There's a very famous ghost, the wheelbarrow, that's in the basement of wherever the basement is, and a lot of the tour people, right, that go in to have the entire thing done, they come back up and talk to the main guide, and they're like, your actor down was amazing, he looks so real, and then these guys are like, but there's no actor. So a lot of people have seen this guy push up the big barrel.
That's the long con, right?
That they're still continuing
They
that
are
entire.
still doing
road.
it.
Come on.
I'm serious. There is no such thing as a house that has stairs that don't lead to the basement. Neither does it have a stair that
go up. It
leads
takes
to the
the
roof.
same
Okay?
flow.
It makes no sense.
Elevators
Sarah
that drop.
Winchester
Doors
was
that-
locking herself in the room for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, just making some weird sounds because all her maids and construction workers were probably, listening in. They're wondering, who is she talking to? Is she talking to the devil? And then Sarah is like, she knows that they're listening. So she said, oh devil, should I make my, hallway
No, but
14
here's the
feet
thing.
by 20 feet?
Sarah, none of her maids knew, or nobody ever knew when she'd go into the seance room and go out. The seance room had one entry and 3 trap exit doors.
Exactly. I'm talking from the point of view of Sarah Winchester. She didn't know that nobody knows. Later we came to know that nobody knows. Maybe there was a maid intelligent enough to follow her.
Oh my God.
Okay? And just she was so paranoid. She wanted to sell it. She wanted that maid to believe that I'm talking to the devil.
Yeah.
She's like, oh devil, should I make my hallway 14 feet by 20 feet? And then devil is not there. So she's like, okay, Sarah, let's do this 14 feet by 18 feet, but face it to the west so that the other ghosts don't know it's going to the west. Okay?
What if the other ghosts are just standing out there like, they can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly my point. See, because if you're a ghost, you are all hearing. Okay? And imagine the other ghosts also. Okay, let's call them Dean and David for a second. Okay, they're just sitting and sipping on some lemon tea, and they're like,
They're making new plans for like a open door that opens to a drop.
See, that's my point.
Do they know you can? Do you know that meme? Do you know that meme? Do you see me? Yeah, I see you. Do you see me? Yes. She don't see us. No. We insert the meme. Cut the meme.
But
cut back the conversation. Okay.
The point is that she was probably doing this on purpose just so that people don't encroach on her wealth and all of that, and she was giving back to the community.
Yeah.
Fine. All that is fine. but you can't deny the fact that she was, okay, maybe not crazy, but super paranoid.
Yeah.
Okay? Super paranoid, crazy, and super intelligent. All
Or
three.
probably
No.
possessed.
No, she wasn't possessed. Don't
Demonic.
ruin the story,
Or-
because that
or-
takes from her intelligence. What you're being is, you're being oppressive now. You are not giving her the credit because she's a woman. If
I
this
came
was a
after
man,
that.
no, if she was a man, you would not have said that maybe he's possessed. But why is it
No,
that
I would have
no,
said
no.
he was crazy. He just needs help.
No, that's
yeah.
the,
Yeah, just
but you would not have
men-
said he's possessed, right?
He
But
is possessed.
We are giving
He's
her the
talking to,
credit
like, the
for
crazy-
being a shrewd, intelligent woman who knows how to keep her wealth in her own hands. And
Yeah.
you're taking that away from her by saying that she
That's a
was
maybe
possessed
statement.
by a male devil.
No.
Yes.
Why does it have
Because
to be?
you said that she was possessed by the devil.
The
okay?
devil is not.
The devil is male. There's no doubt about that. Just
You're
like God
just
is
being
male.
all
The
patriarchy.
Bible
on-
says that.
No.
The Bible doesn't say the devil is a female.
Why are you following
Because-
the Bible?
Because that's
No,
the
no,
only
no,
frame of reference we
uh.
have.
No.
No, that's the only frame of reference we have.
That's okay.
There is no female version of the devil.
There are many other demons
Okay.
that were female.
Yeah, but who? No, this is not enticing for anyone else. This is like devil stuff. And you said devil. So I'm just trying to say that #feminism, she's good enough to be a shrewd, intelligent woman who keeps her own wealth in her own hands and doesn't let anyone else near it. Which, power to her. She was crazy, but she was intelligent. So
She was also powerful and spoke
Powerful.
to demons.
Oh. But power to her.
Yeah.
God bless Sarah
I
Winchester.
don't, maybe not God, but devil bless.
God bless Sarah Winchester. Okay?
Talking about crazy women,
Yeah.
do you
talk
want to
about-
talk about the Mumbai-Goa highway story?
Yeah. So apparently,
National Highway 66.
66 is it?
Yeah.
So
6.
the-
Everywhere the number 6 comes in is just, no.
yeah. So that's not true. Okay?
6, 6,
No.
and 6. Shick,
Joe
shick,
Root
shick.
wears jersey number 66
Shick, shick, shick.
and he's a fantastic player. He's
Shick,
not
shick, shick.
a devil. Okay, anyway. So apparently, National Highway 66 is haunted with some witches, right? That are
This is just
extremely carnivorous. They-
But
no, wait a second.
here's
okay?
the catch.
That's the catch. The catch is that they love non-veg. They don't like vegans. They don't like vegetarians. If you travel on that stretch of road with non-vegetarian food
And this is not
in
fresh
your
meat.
car,
Cooked, spiced, seasoned.
flavorful meat,
Yeah.
right? Then you will find, like this one couple found, that when you're driving and hey baby, it's sorry, this side, no this side, hey baby, it's such a beautiful night. Oh shit, what's happening to the car? So, oh no, it's
Why is he
Oh,
looking at her?
because that's his
But
wife.
the road's
and-
ahead.
No, because empty road, no. And then he's like, oh shit, I think the car is spoiled. Baby, I'll go out and I'll check it. So he goes out and then, can you please open the bonnet, baby? And then opens the bonnet and then he's like, some sort of, flickering light is happening and all
Black
of that.
smoke.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Flickering light is happening, okay? And he's unable to figure out. And then he puts the bonnet down and he's like, baby, inside everything is fine, but the lights are flickering. And then his wife is like, Chanu, I'll also come out to see what's happening. So then she comes out and then
Plot twist. That is the witch's voice.
yeah, no, that's not the witch's voice. Okay, and then
Plot twist. One of the wits.
Okay.
One of the wits said that on purpose to get the
Okay.
wife out.
So no, okay, wife is also out, okay, and they are whatever, and then he goes back inside for something because the black smoke is coming from the car, okay, and he sees like, oh my god, baby, there's black smoke in the car, what are we supposed to do? Maybe we should just stay here, you stay here, I'll go inside and I'll see something, because if I turn the car on, maybe then the black smoke will go up, because I'm not a mechanical engineer, I'm not an automobile engineer, but
I'm
I
not
think that's the
intelligent
solution.
either.
That might be the solution. Okay, you wait here, my love. I'll go to the car and I'll try to do something. And then he goes to the car and he's like, he opens the door and he goes inside. And meanwhile, oh, China, someone came and scratched me. And then he comes out and then he sees that, oh baby, who scratched you on your face? I said, I don't know who scratched me on my face. It's just 3 scratches on my face. Okay, and then he says, oh no. What are we going to do? Because there's a scratch on your face. Our car Now the black smoke is gone. The black smoke is gone. So maybe something has happened. You got scratched. That's a shame. But our car is okay now. But suddenly I'm feeling the urge to eat my food because it's middle of the road and I'm hungry, and you have a scratch and my appetite has increased because I saw your blood. Okay? He was a cannibal, by the way. That's the point. Okay?
Why do you always, all 4 episodes we've got cannibalism?
But this is the truth, okay? So then they go inside. Yeah, baby, I'm also hungry. I also want to eat. So then they open the thing. Oh no! Where's our, chicken tandoori? Oh my God, what has happened to the chicken tandoori? I mean, we also had some mutton rogan josh. Okay?
That's so lame.
Who comes up with this story? Okay, now I'll tell you the real thing that has happened.
Okay.
This is the real story. Okay, they are driving. This douchebag is just.
Babe, pass me the blunt.
No.
Oh, no.
So both of these, they are having a fight. They are regular couple having a fight. They've gone to Goa thinking they're gonna have a good time, but this fucker is promiscuous. He wants to flirt with all the other women, and she's pissed off.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch, you gave me a ring this weekend and you're flirting with that Asha? Oh, please. Okay, so on the way back, they're bickering and he's forgotten to fill the fuel because he's a fucking dud. Okay, and then car stops. Now, he thinks that she doesn't know anything about the fuel bar. So he says, oh, baby, I think that something is wrong with the car. So maybe I'll go ahead and I'll check it. Switches on the car and she goes and she's like, dude, you forgot to fill the fuel. So what are you trying to do? Like, are you serious? You think I'm a fool? And then from there, the situation goes to, why don't you like my mother? And then from there, it goes on to, because, your sister is hitting on me. I'm not the one hitting on your sister. So why don't you just get off my back? And then she says, you know what? Your brother is so much better than you. And then he gets angry. And then he slashes her because he's got nails. He's unkempt.
Why is this so, in detail?
Because that's what happened. He scratches her, okay? And then he instantly realizes, oh shit. What have I done? I've hurt you. I'm so sorry. She's like, no, forget it. I don't want to accept your apology. And then he's like, but if you tell anyone, I'm going to go to jail. She doesn't want him to go to jail.
Because she loves him.
Because she loves him. She still loves him because they're in a very toxic relationship. So then she says,
give her a gun.
You know what? Let's just come up with a story. You take the chicken tandoori and you throw it in the forest. And then we'll come up with a story. We'll say that, okay, when we were going in the car, then the witch was calling us. And how the witch will call us? Hey, stop right there. Okay. The witch was calling us, and then we'll say that I came to the car. After you came out of the car, then you went into the car and the witch scratched me. And then you came outside and you saw I was scratched. And then in the meantime, the witch took the chicken tandoori and she went off.
Your voice is cracking in between.
This is what has happened. And this is the story they have told the people, and they expect us to believe that nonsense. Don't you think they are fucking crazy, Theo? I mean, seriously, who's going to believe that a witch likes chicken tandoori? Huh? Nobody is going to believe that.
I mean, if you're in the jungle eating raw meat, once in a while, I think I understand the urge of having some flavor.
No, Tanisha, you don't understand. The story, when it involves witches, stick to your guns. Witches were notorious to be witches and evil. They would do evil things.
Yeah.
So, the story would have been that, we had a small infant with us in the back seat, and when we came to the front, the infant only vanished. That would have been far more believable and sinister. Okay, when the police is listening to them. So, you're trying to tell me that a witch
so cute.
Stole your chicken tandoori. Okay, so that's the point about the Goa-Mumbai highway.
66.
It is 66. It's not haunted. It's just a couple that was having a bad trip or a bad fight, trying to make up some ridiculous story and telling people not to go there. How many people you know what? Because of that dumb story, even today when there are bus journeys apparently on that stretch of road, they tell them not to take food. Like, what kind of a foolish witch is this? Actually, I like her because she eats non-veg, so that's good. But still, so does that mean that people who carry vegetarian food are slaughtered to death? No, it just means
that... Is there another road in India that has witches that eat only veg? Is there another road that has only vegan witches?
Yeah, or...
We'll find out in another episode of this
Millennial Vortex. Maybe there are witches who have like other dietary requirements, like maybe they're lactose intolerant or gluten-free requirements. But
whatever it is, the only place you can find out these crazy stories is here. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you even laughed for like a millisecond, share it. Because like, why not?
Yeah.
And if you have a best friend, and if, you know, like the witches, like a friendship goal thing, like I would want to go out like with my girl and say, stop cars, steal meat,
Yeah, exactly.
bounce.
So
So
it's
if you
just a
have a best
prank.
friend, tag her down below and get her to watch this video. Because like, go on journeys where you steal people's non-veg meals. If you're vegetarian, we'll come up with another solution in another video. That's for another. Okay, stop it. Stop it.
What she's trying to say is, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and share.
And tag a
this
best
video.
friend
Tag a best friend.
you want to go stealing meat with.
We will
That
see
sounds
you.
so wrong.
We will see you another time with
Another video.
other
Crazy story.
other interesting,
Mystery,
foolish topics
ghost
that
related,
require
crazy, interesting,
some
intriguing.
sort of discussion.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that was eloquent enough. So I think we should call it a day.
It's been eloquent enough. Okay.
See you guys later. Bye bye.
Bye.